Hi there guys, this is the Chapter 13 review. I'm sorry about a lot of the noise. My house is a mold problem and people out there are working, and it might bother you guys, I don't know. You might not be able to hear a word I say or something, so sorry about it now. This is Chapter 13 dealing with just probabilities. It's actually a lot more simple than it seems. The book does a pretty bad job explaining it, and from there, it goes from book to teacher to student. So hopefully this will clear up a lot of the confusion that happened because of the book. So this is quite simply saying that a percent probability could be either displayed as a percent, a fraction, or a decimal. All the same thing. Just like this, 1/10 equals 10%, which also equals 0.1. So when you see decimals, it's pretty much the same thing as a percentage or a fraction. It's just put like this. When you're dealing with probability without the word percent or fraction, just dealing with probability without the word percent next to it, you want to give the answer in a decimal form. If it says percent probability, obviously percent. If it asks what percent of people, obviously percent. So pretty much stick with decimal or percent. You could do fraction. Fraction just easier to do your work with. I don't think that there's going to be any questions that the answer is a fraction unless he specifically asks for a fraction. So just use it for work because it's a lot easier to multiply a fraction's top and bottom. Just like on that worksheet that we were given. So, that's all probability is, either a fraction, a decimal, or percent. Okay? Just to clarify that. Here's the next big key concept, and that is the difference between and or basically the time when to multiply or add. Okay? A lot of people got confused in this section, so pay close attention. When you see the word and then you think, or like say to yourself, you say, and then this, if you list out the items, you're going to be multiplying those things. Just like on question number 1 of the homework. It's 3 units come into the bookstore to buy, what's the probability that all 3 of them would buy a book, okay? And all that's saying is 3 units in a row. Ready? 1, 2, 3. So 1 unit, and then 1 unit, and then 1 unit comes to buy the book. So 1, and then another, and then another. Notice the word and in front of all of that. So use your multiplication. In this case, it's a 8% chance that someone's going to buy a book when they walk into this bookstore or whatever. So you convert that into a decimal, 0.08, and you just cube it. Cubing is the same thing as saying 0.08 times 0.08 times 0.08. We like to stick it with just one number if we can, because you're allowed to then use a cube or a square or a power, instead of multiplying 18 different numbers. Then you have the next key concept, which is the adding concept. Okay, this is also pretty simple. Adding is basically saying this percent probability and this percent probability together. Okay, so when you look at this question about coffee, tea, and water, well, the question is, what percent don't drink coffee? Let's pretend this is like, what do you prefer to drink on your free time, coffee, tea, or water? And we're just being asked, what percentage of people don't like drinking coffee in their free time? So you could do tea plus water, right? That works. So you see 2 different things. Now, the best way to think of this is you don't want coffee, so you can either drink tea or water. You could drink both, but we're not even caring about if you drink both. We're saying, what do you prefer? If you don't prefer coffee, it's either or, tea or water, right? The word or. So you just add tea, water. Boom. You get your 50%. Or what you can simply do is subtract 1 minus 50, because if you don't like coffee, the only other 2 options are tea and water, right? So if you have 100% minus 50, you get the cumulative of the other 2. For this kind of question with just 3 things to worry about, it's illogical. Just add. It's easier to do it in your head. Subtraction typically makes people more confused, especially when they're trying to do it mentally. So for a question like this, if it's this few, it's just 3 or 2 of them, just add, honestly. A question like this with multiple things, you probably want to subtract, and I'll show you why. So this question is asking, what's the percent or probability of not Starbucks? So we're just basically being asked, here's a list of what people prefer to drink, what type of coffee they prefer to drink in like the bags. You can buy like a bag of Starbucks beans. Well, that's all those are. And percent or probability. Don't get confused. They're the exact same thing, except one you're going to be giving them a decimal, and the other one you're going to give me a percent. And the question would be phrased something along the lines of, what percent chance would there be that the person likes Starbucks? Or what percent chance in this case would be the person does not like Starbucks? Or another question could be, what is the probability that a person would not like Starbucks? Pretty easy to deal with. You could go in and just do Dunkin' plus Folgers plus Maxwell House plus Cafe Bustelo plus Pilon plus Nescafe. You could just add them all together. And, this is easy to do because they have 5s and 0s. So, it's pretty simple. However, the quiz probably isn't going to have 5s and 0s to make it easy on you. There's probably going to be some ridiculous decimals thrown in there. So, instead of adding all those numbers together, you could just do 100% minus your 35%. Because this is 100%. All of these things, if you add them together, it equals 100%. So, if you're asking anything besides Starbucks, just take Starbucks out of the 100%. That's it. Just take the group that you care about and remove it if you're asked to see all this stuff. Okay? The question could be phrased as, what percent probability would it be that someone likes Nescafe, Pilon, Cafe Bustelo, Maxwell House, and Folgers? Notice I didn't include Dunkin'. If I get asked a question like that, I got 5 things to worry. 1, 2, 3, 5. Yeah, I got 5 things to worry about. Why should I worry about 5 things? I can just worry about 2 of them. I do 100 minus 35 minus 15, and that equals the rest of this. It's just percentages. You have a whole pizza, okay? You take one slice out. How many pieces do you have? Okay, well, if I take another slice out, how many pieces do you have? What happens if I put them back? You still have a whole pizza, right? Same idea with this. All right, this quiz I feel like is going to be one of our easier quizzes. Don't stress it out too much. I would like to remind you guys that someone needs to send the homework, because the only way we're going to maintain that big old C average is if we have the homework done. The quizzes, obviously, if you get like a 70 on it, it doesn't matter. Homework is going to help you more. We need to get the chat back up. I haven't seen, usually we do something about it earlier, and nothing's happened, so I just wanted to give you guys like a heads up. Anyways, I wish you a belated New Year, because, the last video I made was in like December, so Happy New Year. Alright, Merry Christmas, all that stuff. Good luck.